Okay, instead of having to do that work all over again, of if we want this row as a whole to repeat on another page like it did, you would be with Builder able to save this entire row as it is and name it what you thought was appropriate so that you could then use it on another page. And I will show you how you do that. So because every element has its own container here, like you see, what you save as, you're going to save as whatever your largest thing you're holding. So for instance, this would save as the whole row because I see I'm in the row. If I were to do that for this heading, which would be silly because we already have this module called heading, but theoretically, if I were to save as this, it's only going to save this heading. So you're always going to, for this specific use, be using like something large so you don't have to redo the work. So I would come here and I would save as success columns. When there are few instances in which global is helpful, and I'll describe and I'll show you what happens when you make it global. So I'm going to say yes to global success columns. And when you do a global, you will see this orange. Now, I'm going to publish this because the only way that saved module actually becomes a saved module is if you publish what the work was that you did. So I'm going to go into the Builder tester and I'm going to discard this. You will need to, if this is how you're working, where you have one tab open doing something, you go into another one, you'll refresh it so that it catches up to the fact that, oh, she went and saved a module at some point while that was open. So you come here, you go to your plus sign, and here is where you see saved. And you can see global success columns. And all you do is you drag that into, it's a row, so you can't bring it into here because this is a row. You can't bring a row into a row like that. You'll have to kind of go to the bottom, and when you let go, here is your...
And where did you find the success thing again?
It was under plus and then saved.
Saved.
So when we created these pages, my designer, Kevin, who's working on this site as well, he did the same thing. He didn't make them saved or global, and it's best not to because the chances that you really want global, and I'll show you why, are slim. So for instance, here is the pattern. We call them patterns when something repeats for the bio page. So that way, when he did all of the bios for all of the people, he didn't have to redo this work. He just saved the module, which is encased in this entire row.
Like a template.
Yep. And so...
But then you can still go in and change the copy.
Correct.
Yeah.
You can do that. You need to. So when you do Eric Williams, when you drag him in, let's just do that so we can see it happening. When you come in, and now I'm on Rakefet's page, but I brought the template for Eric Williams in. I come in here and I change the name, and it changes to whatever I want. What happens when you don't have it, when you save it as a global, is when you come into the settings, it opens in a new tab, and you come in here. I'm just going to do this, and you save it. Done. Publish, and refresh this. Of course, it does something weird. Don't be alarmed. Hard refresh. And you see it carries over. So you really don't want to do global unless the thing you're doing is global. It's going to change it everywhere.
That makes
so
sense.
the chances that you want global are slim. So what I'm going to do, just so you can say, well, how do I get rid of this? What I'm going to do is I'm going to X this out. I don't need it anymore. Okay. And then I can come into my plus. I see my thing. And if you ever want to just get rid of a saved row that you no longer need, you just exit. So now it's gone. And you publish, because that is essentially true, the things you've just done, and you refresh your page that you were working with, you will notice that it's still there because you did that. Even though you deleted the global module, you still enacted this change when you did that. But now you see that that gold is gone. So you can come in here, undo what you did, and save it. But the benefit of saving rows and modules and things like that is huge when you start to create more pages. The benefit is that it really reinforces this idea that your site has patterns, that you might not be used to calling them patterns, but when we design things, we say, what's our bio pattern, like our biography pattern, what's our pattern for this and that? And so when you're creating new pages, you really should be using the patterns that already exist. So you kind of look at your page, you look at your site, you do an audit and say, oh, I want it to look like that. You save it as a module, you drag it in and you type over it, and it saves you a lot of time, and you don't feel as though your site's becoming really unruly and everything's starting to look different from one another.
Yeah.